My sister's husband refused to come home early from his mother's house after my sister's car accident. She was dying, and he said he was too tired from the drive. So I documented everything and made sure they got divorced. Today, he's crying on the porch, begging her to come back. When she started dating Josh, it was like watching a dream form. Not mine, but hers. Josh was the kind of guy who planned things, made vision boards, and talked about future kids before he even got a second drawer in her apartment. He'd say things like, "I'm gonna be the dad who makes pancakes every Sunday," with this glowing look in his eyes that made you forget how rehearsed it sounded. Ava used to laugh at how intense he was, but she liked it. It made her feel wanted. Josh made her feel chosen. She'd never admit it, but I think that meant more to her than she let on. Our family isn't the warm type. You get love, sure, but it's scattered and heavy and often full of strings. Josh, at first, made it look simple. They got married the following year. He proposed in front of a fountain, the cheesy Instagram kind, and she said yes before he finished the question. I wasn't sold on him, but Ava was glowing in that way people glow when they finally believe they're safe. I didn't say anything. I just helped plan the bridal shower and smiled at the wedding like I was supposed to. The first couple of years weren't bad. He played the part well. He made Sunday breakfasts. He posted corny captions. He remembered anniversaries without needing a reminder. But over time, something shifted. Quietly. Like when a clock starts ticking slower and you don't notice until you're already late for something. He started traveling more. Visiting my parents, he'd say. They lived a few hours away, in some dull suburb that always had bad signal. Every time Ava called, it went straight to voicemail. He'd return the calls later with some tired excuse about being asleep or helping his dad fix something. Then he asked her to stop coming with him. Said it was too exhausting for both of them. That she should stay and rest. It was framed like concern, but it didn't sit right with me. She stayed. Because Ava always stayed. And that's when the smile started disappearing from her voice. She called me one night, middle of the week, didn't even say hello. Just sat there on the line breathing, like she was trying to line her words up before they came out. When she finally did speak, it sounded small. "Do you think I'm imagining things?" I didn't know what she meant, so I asked. She got quiet again. I heard her exhale, then her voice wavered like she was going to say something important, like finally say it, but then she stopped. "I'm probably just overthinking. He's just been stressed. You know how he gets." Her voice didn't sound convinced. Her mouth kept opening and closing around the words, like she remembered something right before she could say it. That stopped me cold. It was the kind of silence people don't notice unless they've felt it before, the kind that's been trained into you. Like you're not allowed to say what's wrong, even when it's crushing you. She changed the subject to laundry right after. Like we hadn't almost had a real conversation. I didn't push. I should've. A few weeks later, the accident happened. Wet roads, bad timing, a truck that didn't slow down enough. The doctors said she blacked out before she even registered the crash. They pulled her out of the car with half her ribs broken and blood in her lungs. I was at the hospital within an hour. She didn't look like herself. Her face was swollen. Her eyes wouldn't open. Tubes everywhere. Machines doing the breathing for her. I stood there frozen, hand over my mouth, not because I was scared, I was angry. This didn't have to happen. She was driving home from the store. That's it. She was supposed to buy cereal. I called Josh. 6 times. He didn't answer. The 7th time, he finally picked up. His voice was flat. "I'm already at my mom's. It's been a long drive. I'll come tomorrow." My brain just paused. I didn't even know how to respond. Not what hospital. Not how is she. Just, he was tired. I didn't sleep that night. I sat by Ava's bed, held her hand, and watched the machines blink out numbers that meant absolutely nothing to me. I kept thinking about how her voice sounded on the phone weeks ago. That breath, that hesitation. The way she was trying to say something she couldn't. And Josh didn't come. Not that night. Not the next morning. He didn't show up for 3 days. When he did, he walked in with a coffee and a face full of performance. Soft eyes, furrowed brow, hand on his heart like he'd lost something. He sat beside her, told the nurse he was her husband, and then looked at me like I was the intruder. That was the moment I knew, he wasn't just careless. He was dangerous in the quietest way possible. And he had everyone fooled. Update 2. I thought things would get easier after the accident. I thought once people saw how cold Josh had been, they'd turn on him. That the truth would be enough. It wasn't. Not even close. Instead, it felt like I'd been dropped in some twisted version of reality where up was down, and concern was selfishness. My phone kept buzzing with texts, not of support, not of checking in, but passive-aggressive sermons. Some weren't even subtle. A man can only take so much nagging before he needs space. Why are you trying to break up a marriage? You've always been jealous of Ava's happiness. That one stung the most, came from our cousin Jen, who once cried on Ava's shoulder about her own cheating husband. I stared at the screen for a long time before deleting it. The next came from my uncle, calling me disrespectful. Then another from our brother saying I was obsessed and needed to back off. It was like a flood. My aunts, uncles, even Josh's mom, who barely looked at Ava at the wedding, suddenly had the gall to text me a long message about family values. But the one that hit hardest? My mom. She called. Calm voice. Like this was just another family squabble. Sweetheart, marriage is about sacrifices, forgiveness. You don't meddle in a couple's life like this. You're not her husband. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was so deeply pathetic. She almost died, Mom. And Josh was scared. People act differently when they're scared. That's when I realized the manipulation was thicker than I thought. Josh wasn't just lying. He was actively painting a version of me to everyone, the controlling sister, the drama starter, the bitter one who wanted to tear a happy couple apart, the kind of villain that ruins a Disney ending just because she's lonely. And the worst part? They all believed him. I felt like I was screaming through glass. Like every word I said got twisted the moment it left my mouth. But I knew Ava. I knew she wouldn't let him turn her completely. Not without cracks showing. So I called her best friend, Mia. If anyone knew the truth, it would be Mia. She picked up immediately. No small talk. No pretense. You okay? I almost cried hearing her voice. I asked her to be honest, no matter what. She sighed like she'd been holding something in for months. Ava's been worried, she said. She hasn't said it straight out, but she's scared something's wrong. I asked what she meant. He's not the same. He comes home late. Sometimes not at all. She said he's been cold. Like, emotionally missing. And there's this one time he came home smelling like a perfume she doesn't even use. That did it. That one detail flipped a switch in me. My stomach tightened. Not out of shock, out of certainty. He wasn't just absent. He was cheating. I didn't scream. I didn't throw things. I just sat down, opened a blank page on my notes app, and started planning. The next few weeks almost broke me. I followed him. I tracked him from the grocery store to work. Took pictures. Made notes. Half the time, I felt like a lunatic. The other half, I felt like the only sane person left. The exhaustion was real. I stopped sleeping properly. I stopped eating full meals. But I couldn't stop. Then came the day I followed him after work. He was supposed to go home. He didn't. He met up with a coworker, a woman who was unusually touchy with him. Arms around his shoulder. Laughing too loud. And then they went to a hotel. I followed them in. Managed to get a room right next to theirs. I didn't even know what I was waiting for. Proof? Confirmation? Rage? Fate handed me something better. He left his phone on the cashier counter while checking in. The cashier had stepped away. My hand moved before I could think. His phone wasn't locked. I opened it. And there it was. Messages with her. Dozens. Weeks worth. There were texts from the exact night Ava was in surgery. While we were praying she'd live, he was texting that woman about how peaceful the night was and how he was glad to be away from the drama. I felt like throwing up right there. But I took screenshots. All of it. Every word. Then I left. Back home, I uploaded it all to the family group chat. The same one that had spent the last 2 weeks ripping me apart. I said nothing else. Just dropped the screenshots like a grenade and muted the thread. The next 24 hours were chaos. Josh tried to deny it at first. Claimed it was fake. Said I doctored it. But Ava saw the messages herself. On his phone. She saw the ones from the night she was nearly dying. That broke something in her face. They fought. It got so loud she had to call the cops. When they arrived, she didn't hesitate. She said the words I'd been praying for, I want him gone. I want a divorce. She filed that same day. Locked down her bank accounts. Transferred assets. Every step precise and fast like she'd been preparing for this deep down. And just like that, it was over. Now he's crying on the porch. Not because he lost his wife. But because his act is done. Because the mask fell off and no one's buying the story anymore. He begged her to open the door. She didn't even look up. She just sat there on the couch beside me, drinking tea like the storm was outside, not in her. And me? I just watched. Because sometimes protecting someone means becoming everything they said you were. And I'd do it again. Every time.